Hello and welcome to Ukrainian Flames, a special project by Ukraine Crisis Media-Center, NGO Euro-Atlantic Course and Analytical Center of Ukrainian Catholic University. My name is Victoria Zabian. I'm head of the UCMC Press Center. Please like, share this video and subscribe our channel to stay tuned. We would like to dedicate today's episode to sport isolation of Russia in the world with the beginning of the full-scale aggression in Ukraine. It was really good surprise for Ukrainian people that the sports community around the world reacted to Russia's aggressions almost instantly and gave a powerful response to this invasion. Russia was excluded from almost all competitions. Today we invited experts and athletes to explain why the sports community is so united, so decisive, and what else should be done in this sphere to stop Russian aggression. And we start with the comment by sport journalist Igor Martynenko, who explains what restrictions had already been imposed toward Russia and where there is still enough space for new limitations.
Sport is out of politics. This phrase has been repeated in the Russian Federation for decades, in a country where sport is one of the most corrupted and politicized in the world. The annexation of Crimea with aggression in the Donbass, the biggest doping scandal in history, could not force the world to completely exclude the Russian Federation from world sports. But the beginning of a full-scale war on the territory of Ukraine left no choice to the world community. The aggressor country was banned most international sports federations. FIFA and UEFA have banned the Russian national team and Russian football clubs from participating in international competitions such as FIFA World Cup qualification or UEFA Champions League. Also, the final of the Champions League 2022, which was going to be held in St. Petersburg in May, was moved to Paris. Russia has lost hosting the Formula 1 Russian Grand Prix. Adidas will no longer equip the Russian national football team. Sponsorship contracts with Gazprom tore UEFA and the German FC Schalke. Also, the English FC Manchester United stopped cooperation with Aeroflot. And powerful British sanctions take away the ownership of Chelsea Football Club from Roman Abramovich. The International Paralympic Committee has banned athletes from Russia and Belarus from participating in the 2022 Winter Paralympics. Hockey, basketball, volleyball, handball, gymnastics, figure skating, wrestling, and many other sports are leaving the Russian representation. Why is it important? The Russian regime makes extensive use of sports and athletes for propaganda purposes. This is the holding of large sports events like the Winter Olympics in Sochi 2014 or the FIFA World Cup 2018. Russian athletes gladly play along with the Kremlin. For example, Alexander Ovechkin is one of the best hockey players in the world. He lives in the United States for 17 years, plays in the NHL for Washington Capitals, but he considers himself a big fan of Vladimir Putin, and even created the propaganda organization Putin Team in 2017, which included many other Russian athletes. Why is it important to disqualify the Russian Federation from world sports completely? Because a country that starts wars and commits genocide on the territory of a neighboring state violates the Olympic Charter and should not be present in the world community at all levels, so that all people in the Russian Federation begin to understand, also thanks to sports, that their country is an aggressor. What else needs to be done? Total ban of Russian sports, especially the exclusion of the Russian Federation and their satellite country of the Republic of Belarus from the International Olympic Committee. In this aspect, we demand more pressure from the leadership of the National Olympic Committee of Ukraine and, of course, even greater consolidation of the world community, all organizations, including sports ones.
For the case, we heard from Russian officials that sport exists out of the politics. At the same time, Russian athletes were used as ambassadors of Russian propaganda and representatives of questionable values that their country and authorities trying to spread. Ilya Shevlyak, former president of the Sports Committee of Ukraine, first deputy minister of youth, family and sport, underlines that that is why the pressure in the sports sphere must be continued and supported by all civilized world.
Hello everyone, greetings from Ukraine. Let's talk about the issue whether sports stand out of politics. For me, it's very manipulative question. Even more, it's like Fata Morgana. And the role of Morgan Fairy is played by politicians. When it is politically beneficial or being pressed, they say that sport is out of politics. But in everyday life, they use athletes in their own political purposes and campaigns. Remember last meeting in Moscow when a great number of Russian sports stars participated in it and supported Putin's aggression in Ukraine. Or some cases when Russian athletes appeared at high-rank sport events with Z symbol. The symbol which is associated with hate and violence in the whole world. For me, there's no discussion that sport and politics are very connected. They influence each other. Sport is a policy tool. It's an instrument to represent the country, its culture, traditions, achievements, standards of living, and values. And what are the values of young gymnasts with that symbol? The values of violence, inhuman attitude to the people of other country. And what are the values of Ukrainian athletes who left their families, their trainings, sport perspectives, took the arms in the hands and are fighting for the sovereignty of their country. These values are independence, freedom, and victory. We have a lot of examples from the history when state policy resulted in sport decisions. 2 Olympic Games in 1980 and 1984, when they were boycotted by other states, some decisions of International Olympic Committee towards some countries because of their internal state policy. And this is important to use any field to press the invaders and aggressors, and sport is not the exception. We appreciate and welcome all decisions that are taken at the level of international sport institutions. And we welcome to continue this pressure on the invaders.
Our team collected comments from Ukrainian champions on the topic and their thoughts on whether sports can be out of politics, whether their Russian colleagues should be punished, and what should be done in order to stop Russian aggression on Ukrainian land. Ukrainian synchronized swimmer and champion Yelizaveta Yakhno, who was born in Ukrainian Donetsk, says that she doesn't feel the solidarity with her Russian colleagues who prefer to stay silent on Russian aggression in Ukraine, and that is why Russian athletes should be sanctioned for their position.
I'm Yakhno Elizaveta, Olympic bronze medalist. Before the war, I communicated well with athletes from Russia. They supported us at competitions and we supported them. When the war started, we wanted the same support from them, to end the bloodshed, to stop the war. I wrote to athletes from Russia of my sport, asked them to write a post on social networks in support of Ukraine. They have a large audience, but they write posts about love for their homeland Russia or simply stay in nature. Maybe one person went to rallies. Everyone is silent. It is so conveniently for them. Meanwhile, people are dying every day in Ukraine. I'm sure they are not all fools. It's just comfortable to be silent. Sanctions should be in sport too. They were removed from international competitions and I think this is right. When they write to me that sport is out of politics, I say in politics. Moreover, I was very outraged by the concert in Luzhniki in Moscow. They celebrate 8 years of the reunification of Crimea to Russian Federation. But the Crimea is Ukraine. It was annexed illegally. They put on stage more than 5 famous athletes who were not against put on clothes with the letter Z, but in Ukraine, Russian tanks drive on the ground with the letter Z and kill people. Also, a Russian racer performed Nazi salute during our ceremony at the European Championship. Then these athletes complain and ask, why were they removed from the international competitions? Because to the fact Russian athletes support Putin and his propaganda, who kill Ukrainian and can train comfortably, and Ukrainian athletes defend the country, help civilians, and don't have the opportunity to train their sports in war conditions. I feel so sorry for all the people of Ukraine, for every dish, for every city, every house. I think it will not go unpunished. I pray for us every moment and believe we will win as soon as possible.
Bohdan Mochulsky, Ukrainian champion and Jiu-Jitsu fighter, underlines the very important aspect that at the international competitions, athletes represent their countries. According to this logic, probably we can say that if the athlete wants to be out of the politics, he or she should not take part in competitions that involve the raising of national flags.
Я не погоджуюся з твердженням, що спорт поза політикою. Адже в сучасних реаліях, щоб бути професійним спортсменом, тобі потрібно приділяти цьому увесь свій час та ресурс. І забезпеченням спортсмена зазвичай займається бізнес або держава. Бізнес перетворює спорт у механізм заробляння грошей, а держава, в свою чергу, підтримує імідж та статус на міжнародній арені. Сучасний світ дуже глобалізований, і спортивна галузь не є виключенням. У спортсменів є соціальні мережі, їх запрошують на телерадіоефіри. У них є своя аудиторія. У когось вона більша, у когось менша, але вона є. І спортсмени роздумують і спілкуються на різні теми, і в тому числі і політичні. А коли спортсмен представляє свою країну на міжнародній арені, перемагаючи, звучить гімн цієї країни, підіймається прапор. І ось, коли Росія напала на Україну, багато хто з спортивної галузі були змушені вступити до Збройних сил України, записатись в територіальні оборони, почати займатися волонтерством. Всі об'єднуються, аби зберегти нашу країну та відновити мир. І ось в цей час спортсмени з Росії продовжують показувати, наскільки спорт поза політикою. Вони демонструють різні заборонені жести, вони демонструють символіку, під якою армія їхньої країни чинить безчинства у нас в Україні, які заборонені всіма нормами та конвенціями міжнародними. І ось в цей час весь цивілізований світ повинен об'єднатися та показати справжні цінності. І блокування і бойкотування Росії на міжнародній арені, на міжнародній спортивній арені, і різних спортивних організаціях – це ще один спосіб показати ці цінності.
Stanislav Horuna, Ukrainian karate fighter, Olympic bronze medalist, emphasizes that Russian people should feel the collective responsibility for what is going on in Ukraine, and athletes are the part of Russian people, so they are guilty in Russian authorities' actions in Ukraine as well.
Talking about Russian athletes, they are guilty, directly or indirectly, and the responsibility must follow. Any citizen cannot be separated from his or her country. That is a collective responsibility. The crime is committed by the country, not by the person. The country comprises all spheres of life of its people. So if the country takes the responsibility, it means people from all spheres of countries functioning, culture, business, medicine, science, including sport, take that responsibility as well.
We also have touching story from Ukrainian figure skater Ivan Shmuratko, who refused from the special costume during his performance at the competition and skated just in a training t-shirt with Ukrainian flag. Let's listen to his message.
Hello, I'm Ivan Shmuratko, a Ukrainian Olympic figure skater and representative of Ukraine on World Championship 2022. Let me talk about this event a bit. So when the full-scale war started on February 24th, there weren't any talks about competition, about figure skating, neither about sport. We in Ukraine it was about surviving and helping family, ourselves and our country. And but when I have had the chance to go to Worlds, we with my family decided to make this happen because we thought that it would be good that me as a figure skater will tell the message for the whole world with my skating, which I do the best. So we with our team of pair skaters, Artem Darensky and Sofia Golichenko, and dance couple Alexandra Nazarova and Maxim Nikitin come to Montpellier to World Championship. And from the first programs, we saw that world is on our side and that the world is with us, standing with Ukraine. And we're so thankful for this and for this experience. Also about the question with my costume for the short program, I come to skate on the ice with a t-shirt of Ukrainian national team. I decided to do it because the original costume of my short program contains the colors like red, pink, and I thought that it would be much more better to skate with my flag, Ukrainian flag, on my chest and with every Ukrainian by my side, not in costume of my program, but in t-shirt of my country. Yeah, and when I did my program, I didn't expect, of course, to get into the free skating because I wasn't training for the whole month, and the athletes which came there did what they were training for the whole season. So I did more or less good in short program, just with one mistake. Of course, it wasn't about scores or about jumps. It was about a message to show the world that we are Ukrainians, we are fighting, and we are here for all of us, for all of our country. And I did qualify for the free skating. Some of us decided to withdraw from free skating because of for pairs it's really traumatic without training to go and skate free program, as it is very, very, very hard thing to do. But I decided that I will skate, and I skated not clean, with some mistake, with some jumps, not triple but double, but the main thing was that I skated, and everyone were so thankful to me about this. And as I said, this was for every Ukrainian, and with every one from my country by my side. And we as a team are so thankful to the world of figure skating fans and at all to stand with Ukraine.
Vladyslav Heraskevych, Ukrainian skeleton racer, is one of the Ukrainian athletes who is actively volunteering since the first day of Russian full-scale invasion to Ukraine. He told us about his work.
On the Olympics, we do call for a peace, and this is the reason why we have a lot of connections with world media. And from the first days of war, we start working in this direction and try to tell the truth about Ukraine and what happens in our country at that moment. And also, we try to work in direction of suspension of Russian and Belarusian athletes from international sports. So our work about suspension was really hard, and was a lot of we spent a lot of time for that. But I'm glad that Russia wouldn't use and don't use Paralympic Games for this shitty propaganda. And also from the after 2 weeks of war, we started do volunteering with our team, with my dad. So we working as a team on the ice, and also now we work as a team in volunteering. And 1 week later we create our charity foundation, and we now work as charity foundation, because together with great team we can do more than we can by ourselves alone. So it's how me and my team, how my dad and skeleton at all at Ukraine works at war, and I'm glad that we can use platform of sport to bring peace and unity to the Ukraine and to save our lives and save lives of our people.
The beginning of Russian invasion happened at the same time with Winter Paralympic Games in China. Ukrainian team managed to get the second place in the number of medals, and the Ukrainian athletes not only have shown really high results, but used the moment to tell the world what is happening in Ukraine right now.
Українським паралімпійцям нелегко прийшлося в Пекіні, тому що, перш за все, це була боротьба, знаєте, проти нерозуміння. Це була боротьба за об'єднання усієї спільноти за Україну. І перше, що вдалося зробити національній збірній, що вдалося зробити президенту Паралімпійського комітету Валерію Сушкевичу, це вдалося об'єднати всі національні паралімпійські комітети, аби команди Росії та Білорусі зняти з цих паралімпійських ігор, виключити. І взагалі наразі ведеться дуже серйозна робота, продовжується, аби виключити російські і білоруські паралімпійські комітети з паралімпійського руху загалом. Ну, це рішення, ми сподіваємося, буде, і воно буде восени. Ми віримо в це, що восени на Генеральній асамблеї Міжнародного паралімпійського комітету паралімпійська спільнота прийме таке рішення. Але ж повертаючись до тих днів, повертаючись до яскравої перемоги, яка відбувалася в Пекіні, знаєте, було дуже важко в тім, що попри те, що нас дуже сильно підтримували, було і нерозуміння, і була непідтримка, і особливо зі сторони організаторів ігор. Це китайська сторона, яка, м'яко кажучи, одверто підтримувала Російську Федерацію. І За нами слідкували, за нами ходили, дивилися, як ми даємо інтерв'ю. Звісно, в Сочі ми закривали медалі, і від нас китайці теж чогось такого чекали. І до нас підійшли і попросили, щоб ми не зривали медальні церемонії. І що вони нам дадуть момент, коли ми офіційно можемо зробити нашу якусь акцію, якусь нашу дію, ту, що ми хочемо, бо вони знали, що ми хочемо це зробити. Далі наші хлопці і дівчата продовжують боротьбу, от вони волонтерять, вони виставляють свої медалі на аукціони. Вони роблять все, аби приблизити мир, аби наблизити мир в Україні і аби здолати рашистів. І знаєте, за кілька днів нові ігри для України, нове випробування – це ігри для нечуючих спортсменів, спортсменів з порушеннями слуху. Це Дефлімпіада, яка з 1 по 15 травня пройде в Кашіас-до-Суль, Бразилії. І на цей момент ми теж маємо вже певне досягнення, тому що і Росія, і Білорусь виключені з участі в цих іграх. І ми знаємо, що ми переможемо. І ми знаємо, що ми там теж боротимося за мир в Україні, за мир в усьому світі, за мир для всіх. Слава Україні!
You've been watching Ukrainian Flames, a special project by Ukraine Crisis Media Center, NGO Euro-Atlantic Course and Analytical Center of Ukrainian Catholic University. In description to this video, you can find the information about how personally you can help Ukraine against Russian aggression. Everything is gonna be Ukraine.